everybody, and welcome to my Stampin' Studio. I'm Tina Rappy, and today I wanted to share with you this card, which uses one of the Celebration stamp sets. Now, Celebration goes through the end of March, so March 31st is the last day that you have an opportunity to get some of the products used on this card. So I want to jump right in and get started. So are you ready? Okay, so here again is the card that we're making today. And this uses a few of the Celebration items. So let me talk to you about that for a moment. This is the Celebration brochure, and items in this are available from January 3rd to March 31st. And these are not things that can be purchased, but rather things that you can earn for free. So we're going to be using this stamp set, which is the lovely Lily Pad stamp set. Okay, there's also coordinating dies here, the Lily Pad dies, and there is coordinating Lily Impressions Designer Series paper. Now the paper is free with a $50 purchase. The stamp set is free with a $50 purchase, and the dies are free with a $100 purchase. So let's go ahead. So we're going to be using this image here and this one. Okay. And then with the dies, we're going to be using this and right here, can you find it? This one, which will cut out the lily itself, and then this one that cuts out the lily pad. So, okay, so I have a piece, just a scratch piece of Whisper White. I'm going to use the Lily Pad image and black StazOn ink. Let's stamp that up here. And then I'm going to use the Lily Pad image. And we'll stamp that on here. I think I bounced. I did. I'm going to do it again. I've got a little bit of a double image right there. All right, so let me just do it down here. There we go. All right, put this away. And then I'm going to use an aqua painter. And this is Blackberry Bliss. So I've got some ink on the inside of the lid, but I want a little bit more. So I'm closing it and squeezing it, and that's picked up a little bit more ink here. Then with my aqua painter, let me scooch over so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to squirt a little bit of water and pick up some of that ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and start watercoloring this in. So my thought is it would be darker in the shadows. So I'm going to lay that darker color here to begin with, kind of in the underneath petals. The nice thing about watercoloring is that every time you do it, it's going to turn out a little bit different, and there is no right or wrong to it. I do, however, want a little darker ink. There we go. And now I'm just going to flood a little more water there. Okay, and so then I am going to paint up here from the larger part of each petal to the smaller part. It's just so quick and easy, and it looks so natural. You know, that things are variegated looking the way that they would be in nature. Okay, so I want a little more contrast there, so I'm going to go back with the dark and just flood it in these areas that kind of fall within the shadows. Okay, and then I just want it a little bit lighter there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and get out, I have Pear Pizzazz next. That's what we're going to use to do the lily pad. So here I just brushed off the extra ink that was in there, and I'm going to just go ahead and do a flood of color here. And pick up some of the darker. Okay, like that. That's all there is to that. I'm gonna let that dry for just a moment. And while that's happening, set that aside. I have some of the new crinkled seam binding ribbon, and I'm going to use a Stampin' Blend, and this one happens to be light raspberry, light rich raspberry. So I'm using the brush tip, the bigger end, because we have a pointed end here. I don't want that. I want the big brush tip end. I want to lay it flat rather than on the point, and I want to drag it across here. And do you see that magic? We went from a white crinkled seam binding ribbon to a rich raspberry. So you can use this to make ribbons any of the colors that you want, just like that. I'm going to let it sit to dry for a minute. And while that's happening, or while that's drying, we're going to get the card base ready. So this is some Blackberry Bliss. And then next I have an embossed piece, and this is the Beads and Baubles embossing folder. All right, so I want you to, do you notice those images? The little droppy things? And if you look at the dies, do you see this little droppy thing? Teardroppy? And so I have cut this out. We're going to use this on here, and it's going to coordinate so well. They weren't even designed to go together. That's how cool it is. By happenstance, perhaps? Okay, let's get this on here. All right, like that. And then I have a piece of, this is Pear Pizzazz, and I actually want to attach this to the bottom of it. So what I'm going to do, on the back side of the Pear Pizzazz, I'm going to run a bit of snail. Then I'm going to take this piece and position it right on there. Now it's stuck, and so I've got it just exactly where I want it. Okay, set that aside, and I am going to use the dies and cut these out. So give me just a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, so there is our lily that we cut out and our lily pad. So I have a piece of Whisper White here. I'm going to go back to our ribbon that we just colored. We're going to use the bow maker to tie a bow. This is going to go across here, and I didn't make it any too long, but I'm going to use a couple glue dots to secure that on. So we're going to put one right there and one right there. That way, instead of wrapping it around to the back side, which I just don't have enough length here for, I can stick it right on there and across, and then just with my little tails, I can trim this off. Okay, and right here. Okay, this is going to go on the Pear Pizzazz piece. This is going to go on the card itself. All right, and then let me grab my dimensionals, and we are going to, oh, the lily pad itself, we're going to lay that flat down, no dimension to that one, and that's going to go there. But the lily, we're going to pop that up with a few dimensionals. Pretty, right? And so with this card, like I said, the stamp set you can get with a $50 purchase, the dies you can get with a $100 purchase. So just purchase some of the other things that you're really enjoying and get that stuff for free. So I hope you enjoyed this project today, and if so, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you would click like below here, and also share it. Click share so your friends can enjoy it as well, and that will help me out immensely. I'd really appreciate it. Dimensions and products that we used will all be listed on my blog. You can go to stampinstudio.com and find all of those. Clicking on any of the products themselves will take you directly to my online store where you can purchase these. So I appreciate so much you taking a little time out of your day today to join me in my stamping studio. And until we meet again, enjoy life, stamp something, and eat chocolate. Bye-bye.